Well, hello and welcome to another video about my record collection. I've done specific ones again about the Kinks and the Rolling Stones, and of course they are going to cross over with the vinyl 33 1/3 RPMs that I'm going to talk about today. As you'll have seen from the Rolling Stones, I did get the first 5 albums, which was the Rolling Stones #1, surprisingly #2, followed by Out of Our Heads, Aftermath, and Between the Buttons. Because the Rolling Stones were very big for me in the 60s. But the act that was at the time #1 was obviously the Kinks, and this was their second album, King Controversy. Again, it was as with the Rolling Stones, they did start to write the odd one of their own by now. For instance, Till the End of the Day, which is included on this album. Now, when I used to live at Lincoln. I live in Durham now. I used to live at Lincoln. At the time I had a girlfriend, and one Christmas she was good enough to buy me an album, which, as I said previously, was a rare occurrence, not me having a girlfriend, me buying an album, because not being able to afford it. However, I was bought by Linda in Lincoln an album called Face to Face by the Kinks. And it's got Love and Best Wishes for Christmas 1966. Some good songs on there, reading through them. The ones I particularly like, although Rosie, Won't You Please Come Home, Dandy, which Peter Noone did make a version of, Too Much on My Mind, Session Man, various other ones which I'm going to stop at that point. But again, like all the albums I did get, I did play them loads and loads on my record player. Now, I tended to like the more angsty bands like Rolling Stones and the Kinks and the Who, hence Quadrophenia. I got this t-shirt in June when I went down to Sheffield to see the Who playing Quadrophenia, and what a brilliant performance that was. Absolutely out of this world. But in the 60s, my milder moments, the Walker Brothers were the people that did that for me. I have some of their albums from that time. Lines. On these you did get to hear the voices of John a bit more, as well as Scott, which of course was the voice of the Walker Brothers as far as I was concerned. Followed by Images. They were the sort of two what I call proper albums that they released. And I got a couple of compilations which are still very available, I would think, on CD. Well, I know they are on CD at the moment. The Immortal Walker Brothers, Make It Easy on Yourself, Dancing in the Street, Land of a Thousand Dances, which is a song Wilson Pickett had out, which I really liked, especially in the 60s. Here Comes the Night, but not the one by them. In My Room, Just for the Thrill, I Can See It Now, Living Above Your Head, Everything Under the Skin, and Genevieve. So wasn't just a compilation of hits, but tracks off their albums as well. This one, the fabulous Walker Brothers. Likewise, it's not all the hits. One of the tracks on here is Sunny, which John Walker sings, and Deadlier Than the Male. I remember that particularly because I met my wife in December 1966, and I remember, must have been 67, and Engelbert Humperdinck interloped and got top of the charts with The Last Waltz, And they always used to play that as the last song at the disco on a Saturday night. And in those days, the disco, I say, they used to have a stage with a live band singing songs, but they used to alternate with a DJ. And in one of the places we went to, they had just an exclusive disco, as well as the big concert room with the band playing. But one of the ones, apart from the last waltz, they used to play Deadlier Than the Male. So that's the sort of song where I associate that with, is the Top Rank in Sunderland, which has since been demolished and replaced with a supermarket. And now the supermarket's been demolished and there's nothing there at the moment. But time moves on, and as that was also the place where I met my wife, that's one of the memories gone forever, at least physically. After the Lights Go Out, there's a few there which were on the other albums as well. Early on with the singles, I was buying the Springfields, and so when Dusty went solo, I went solo with her. And on this one, the ones that at the time were new to me and by her was my colouring book and 24 Hours from Tulsa, her version, and Wishing and Hoping. Obviously those were hits by other people. Wishing and Hoping by the Mersey Beats, 24 Hours of course, Gene Pitney. My colouring book now, I'm not sure who had them, if anybody actually hit with it, but I know Cilla Black sang it, and I have a version, I think that by Agneta of ABBA. In my early days also, I remember going with this girl from Lincoln. We bought this one between us. Guess who kept it? Yeah, that was me. More Hits by Cliff. In fact, no, it wasn't the girl from Lincoln, it was the girl from Chelmsford. There we go. That's going back even further. That's when I was at college. That does have a collection of hits from The Next Time, I Could Easily Fall, and songs in between really. What was very in a circle of friends, especially in the late 60s and the early part of the 70s, were the Motown Chartbuster albums. I do have them on CD now, which is much easier to use and more clarity, and I do like them, unlike a lot of people who liked I don't know whether it's just the quality of sound on a vinyl. I think it's the sentimental part of it that they like, but I don't think they're a patch on CDs. However, this one won't be a patch now because I would imagine there's quite a few crackles on it. It's the Motown Chartbusters Volume 3. I missed out on 1 and 2 at that time. Then on to number 4, Motown Chartbusters Volume 4. And unsurprisingly, Chartbusters number 5. When we used to be going out in the 70s, there was about 5 or 6 couples. We were all courting at the same time, and we used to meet up and go to the nightclubs, and then on Sundays we used to go around each other's houses and play things like this. Getting into the back end of the 60s, there was the Equals. This is just another compilation one, from which Eddie Grant was materialised as a solo artist. Obviously we've got Baby Come Back and Viva Bobby Joe and those songs. Now this is one I've just bought in a second-hand record shop. In fact, I bought it twice in a second-hand. I've got 2 copies of this, which is the Beach Boys' greatest hits. When I was living in Lincoln, I do particularly remember one Christmas party which was dominated by God Only Knows and their hits of that time. Were very prominent as being played at that particular party. This one was given to me by somebody who was giving albums and vinyl albums away. I can't resist taking them, of course. This is a selection of Billy Fury songs. I do sing Halfway to Paradise, among other songs. I think a lot of people also had these albums by the Beatles, the double albums with mainly hits on, and obviously known, as we all know, as the Blue Album and the Red Album. And as you can see, it's a double album set, and at the time it was £3.99. So I must have bought that after we'd gone metric, mustn't we? But £3.99 was still cheap for a double album set. Once again, not at the time but later. This cost me £4.50 at a record shop, second-hand record shop, the Disraeli Gears. Now when I first moved from Lincoln to the northeast, because after I met my wife, I was working up here for 9 months on a contract and learning the trade as a lad, learning all the building trades because I wanted to be a surveyor. And I was sent up to the northeast to work on a contract and just to watch and observe and learn as much as I could about the construction. So that's when I met my wife. Then I went back to Lincoln, and I was back there 9 months before I finally got a job up in Sunderland and moved to the northeast. And for a while I was in digs, and there was some students from Sunderland College there, and there was about 6 or 7 of us in this, well, I suppose you could call it a boarding house, but it was just a big house with separate bedrooms obviously. And we used to have quite a lot of songs going on there. I remember Blind Faith being played a lot, and Captain Beefheart, and this album, Disraeli Gears, absolutely superb. Shame they had to split up really, but that was when, in my opinion, Eric Clapton was a good artist. I think he's had some events in his life which has probably affected him, but I think he went off very mellow and to the point of boring, dare I say. I wonder who'll object to that. And finally, another compilation, Lulu. So I didn't get many vinyl albums that were actually albums released with new tracks on. Tended to get, apart from the Stones and the Kings. Yeah, I liked it particularly in To Sir With Love, due to the song as much as anything, but it was quite a good film as well, with Sidney Poitier. And I've seen her 2, maybe 3 times. Once at Newcastle City Hall, and the last time was a free concert at South Shields. They have a summer festival, and they had quite a lot of 60s artists, and went to see her one year. Right, so that's the end of that little talk about 60s albums that I have, vinyl albums. I'm going to finish it there, and since this group that Jim runs involves the 70s as well, I'm going to do one about 70s albums. Bye for now.